Right, hello. Welcome to another episode of Tamara Unfiltered. Sorry, I'm a little bit off today. Have actually eaten and haven't smoked much weed, but I've got my children in the house and that always makes me feel a little bit on edge. Anyway, we've got to do what we've got to do to get what we need to get done, so we are here. Anyway, this is going to be, I'm going to keep this quick. I have been thinking, could I maybe move this and just do this every other week? And I'm not trying to cop out, but I just feel like at the moment I'm scrambling to get these podcasts together, and I feel like they're not that great. I feel like they could be a lot better if I maybe had a bit more time. So I don't know, I might move these to every other week. Anyway, let me not go on about that. I want to just first of all say thank you. Last week we had the Cannabis and Breastfeeding and Pregnancy podcast come out, and I think that has been my most listened to podcast to date, and funnily enough it was my 25th podcast that I had published, so yeah, that was quite nice. Anyway, I've had quite a few of you just message me and say, oh, well done, you're so brave, thank you, sort of thing. I don't know if it was brave, but I felt like a lot of that stuff just needed to be said. It is probably, like I said before, the number one question I get from you guys. Anyway, I did have a few messages and I did have a few questions, and it wasn't enough to warrant a follow-up podcast, but I'm just gonna, this podcast is just a little bit of a catch-up, and I am just gonna go through the questions that I had. Sorry, I'm sweating. You see, I've got my summer vest on. It is like 25 degrees in the UK today, and I am not complaining, but I'm sweaty and hot, so apologies about that. Anyway, like I said, I had a few questions and I just want to go over them very, very quickly, and then yeah, we'll have a bit of a catch up and I will get on with my day. Now, the first question I had was, did I get my cannabis through smoking or was it through oils and edibles? Now, I've got to say, when I first had my first child, it was Rocco. He's 20 now. This is going back 20 years, and I'm not saying like oils and edibles didn't exist, but they weren't in my life. They weren't a thing. That just wasn't what I was doing. So I'd never done oils and edibles really in any of my pregnancies until I think like my last one I'd had a little bit, but I very quickly realised it was of no use. I do understand that when it comes to what you're sharing with the baby, and this is going to sound so terrible, but like you're not sharing your air supply, but you are sharing like your food and drink supply, right? So I personally wouldn't do edibles or anything like that whilst I was pregnant and or breastfeeding, just because it's going straight to the baby. I mean, not only is it a fucking waste, I feel like it's funny to say this given what we're talking about, but I feel like it's a bit irresponsible. Plus you're not getting from them what you want to normally be getting from them. It's like normally when you eat anything, everything, all the goodness is just going into the baby, and that's why you feel so awful all the time. So I think it's the same with the oils and edibles. I would just personally avoid them, and I have avoided them. Second question was, did I use tobacco? Now, unfortunately, yeah, I did. I mean, at the time, I did feel bad. Although, God, there's so much evidence now about nicotine and how it's so good for you and it's a health product and blah, blah, blah. This is not the podcast for that. I'm not getting into that now. But I did with all of them smoke, and I did use tobacco, and it was only on my last pregnancy, because my last pregnancy was, I think it was probably about a year or two before I stopped being vegan, and prior to that I'd been like 6 years vegan. So I was, not that this has got to do with anything to do with smoking, but I was like idle, everything was pure. So there was no tobacco in my spliffs, it was just pure weeds, and I was just eating, like, I'm not going to say I was a healthy vegan, but it was all just, vegan food and stuff, which I think I actually want to do another podcast on, because I don't really regret anything. You can't have regrets in life, but I do wonder if me being vegan, so I do not wonder, because I know me being vegan for so long kind of made me quite unwell, but I don't know if that affected my pregnancies. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I did use tobacco with all of them. And yeah, I think looking at all the kids, you can't really, I mean, they're all very, very different, but there's not any noticeable difference like that, I would say. The third question, probably a really good question, was, did I cut down? Now, honestly, I did, because as much as I was well aware that it was okay, I could be smoking, I was also aware that it would be better to not be. So I kind of, with all my pregnancies, just tried to limit it to what I I mean, arguably you could say you don't need any of it, but what I felt like I needed, it wasn't just smoking for funsies or for like just for the sake of it. I did try and just smoke what I felt was necessary, like, because like I said before, I was so sick and I feel like it helped the sickness so much, so it was more like I was smoking to ease my sickness and to help with like my sleeping and stuff like that. So yeah, I did definitely cut back. Now, somebody asked, where can they find more information about all of this? I'm going to be honest, I think the reason it was the most watched podcast is because nobody is really willing to speak about this, which is fair enough. But there is not much research, and the internet is just like, it's almost like the whole of the internet has become the dark web. It's really hard to navigate. There are far too many... there's far too much misinformation on the internet, and I just think it's a really hard place. I think when I was younger, I'm gonna make myself sound really old now, but when I was older and like the internet was kind of a bit more brand new, it was a lot easier to navigate and find what you need to find. And now there is just a lot of propaganda. But what I would say is seek out forums. I find forums, for me personally, regardless of what I'm like researching or trying to look into, I think forums where you are hearing the experiences of the people who, you know, you're trying to, or you want to relate to, when you go on the forums, you just get raw, kind of authentic opinions, and you can kind of gauge a lot. I think that's how do you know what, that's how I got so into NMN, because I started reading like on the Reddit forums and stuff, and the things people were saying. And also it's really good for information. I guess that's what a lot of you were trying to find out, like you know, a lot of tips and stuff. You know, I discovered a few little things about NMN that I wasn't aware of, that, you know, the company I was buying it from didn't speak about or anything like that. So I found it really interesting. And I find with anything, especially with stuff like this, it's a bit more, you know, you're not gonna find many books written on it, or, you know, studies and stuff like that. So when you get into the forums and you can actually see people's opinions and their experiences, I find that to be really helpful. Funnily enough, that's why I didn't end up vaccinating any of my children, because I that's another podcast for another day, but I went down quite some dark rabbit holes. And if you just read, you know, actual accounts of the parents that have had their children vaccinated and how it's gone horribly wrong, yeah, I did that really helped make the decision for me. Anyway, point is, the matter is, if you want more information on this, you're probably not going to find too much professional information or whatever, factual information, but you can find go to the forums, look up what the people are talking about, and just have a read. I think that's where I find so much information. Now, finally, that study by that Dr. Dreher, that is probably, I have said previously, that's one of the only studies done on this, and it's probably the most important one, because they are not, I mean, I've said this before, they are not going to fund studies that are going to go against the answers that they want. You know, if you are a drug company trying to sell whatever drug, the last thing you want is to run a trial where somebody says cannabis can do the same thing, because, you know, it's such a wonderful product and it's so easily produced, but they can't tax it and patent it and all of that. So I would say you're not going to find that kind of information, but the forums, they're a really good place to start. Anyway, this lovely lady had messaged me, and I just want to address this quickly, because I mean, this is not an agony aunt podcast, far from it, and I'm probably not one to be giving advice on anything, but I just wanted to put my 2 pence in. She had said that she's a first-time mum and she's really struggling to cut down smoking after leaving an abusive relationship. And honestly, I would just like to say, if that was me, I would be really, but not, to be honest, if I was back when I was pregnant, I wouldn't have had this hindsight, but if I could go back, I would be so much kinder to myself. Being pregnant is not easy. You are literally producing a whole human. It is very taxing on your body. And so when that aside, you know, that in itself is a whole fucking job. But then you're dealing with, you know, trauma and, you know, breakdowns of relationships and mental health and all that kind of stuff. And so I would say, again, this is not advice, I'm not a doctor, but I would just say you need to do what you need to do to keep yourself happy. One thing I wish I had been taught, and it took me 5 fucking pregnancies to figure out, but like the stress that you go through when you're pregnant really affects your baby. Like, I'm not saying colic doesn't exist, but I am definitely saying it is fucking relative to how stressed you were when you were pregnant. The two most stressful pregnancies I had resulted in the two most stressed out, upset, sad babies I've ever had. Like, it was just, I don't know, it really does affect them. And so I think now if I was to do that again, I would just do everything I could to make sure I wasn't stressed. And I was like super fucking happy and my vibe was good and I was feeling great every day and I was focusing on like really having like this happy environment for my baby to grow in. It sounds so fucking woo woo and so earth mother, but it makes such a fucking difference. Honestly, it really does. Anyway, I've done 5 pregnancies alone now. And the funny thing is, would I do it again? Yeah, I probably would, because the result is like really great. I mean, it regularly gives me a headache and causes me to feel like I'm having a nervous breakdown, but I don't know, I would do it again. But I think that whole experience was made better through being able to have like cannabis as a support. And I know that sounds fucked up. Listen, I know a lot of people have probably listened to this podcast and just gone, what a trashy whore. And that's okay. That's okay, because I understand. Well, first of all, people need to think badly on other people because it helps them to feel better about themselves. But I do understand, like, I could have done better. Like, I do know that, but I've done my best, and my best is all I can fucking do, and it's all I've got. It's all I fucking got. Anyway, you probably all noticed I've got a nice tan. Sorry, that's the end of that segment of the podcast. There was no more questions. If you have got any questions, just send me a DM and I'll do my best to respond in the podcast. But yes, you probably noticed I've got a lovely tan. I literally went and had, I mean, you call it a break, call it a breakdown. Don't know what you want to call it, but last week I just reached the point where I was just like, fuck all of this. Like, and to be honest with you, I'm getting to that point more and more often lately. And I know I'm very privileged to be able to run off and have like what I am calling a very fucking expensive nervous breakdown. But yeah, I went away last week. I just thought I'd talk about that really because, well, just this perimenopause. And the thing is, I keep calling it perimenopause because I don't really know what else it is to, like, what else can explain like this insane rage that just keeps bubbling up in me with not much to like make it bubble. Like, it really does. I've always had a short temper, but of late it's like I don't even have like that thing where I can count to 3. I'm just like, 1, fucking let's go, and I'm just, god, so fucking bad. But last Friday, I had a huge row with my baby father, like literally outside my house. It's so fucking embarrassing. He's showed up. Now bear in mind, like, I feel like this is just, you know, like stuff just builds up and the pressure just, whew, sometimes. Anyway, we're going on like 6 months of him just blatantly ignoring me. You guys know this, I've discussed this, like, it drives me insane. Anyway, he's had to come and drop some money for his stepkid wants to pick up from me. Anyway, so he's had to like basically come to the door and have a little exchange with me or whatever, which I'm pretty sure fucking killed him inside. But anyway, so he's given me this money, I've put it on the side. So the kids are getting ready and like Kale's gone out to the car and he's like pulling the car door because it won't open. Anyway, so his dad's just like pushed the door and the fucking door's just lit Kale in his head. And oh my god, Kale takes a lot to make him cry, and he just burst into tears because it was a real hard like. Anyway, so and then my baby father, instead of like a normal person who would just say like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, like let me give you a hug and pick him up, he just started shouting at him. He just started what did he even shout at him about? He was like, oh, you lot are always arguing about who wants to sit in the front. Of course they do. They literally, that's the argument they have every fucking day. It drives me mad too, whatever. But he started shouting at him and I don't even know what colour is past red because I just saw that and I just flipped my fucking lid. I was just like, don't you fucking shout at him, you cunt. I was like, you're so fucking I had to him, I don't even know what I was saying, but all I know is I was like, I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna put your fucking windows. I was just doing like council house trash mum, like, does she smoke meth mum? Like, you know, I was just really out there losing my fucking mind and I was just like, fucking leave before I kill you. And all this is in front of the kids, which I really try not to do because they only see what they fucking see. They don't see all the stuff that goes on behind closed doors that makes their dad like a grade 8 cunt. They just now see me fucking blow up and threaten to beat up their fucking dad, who looks fucking scared, like pussy hole. Anyway, so I just, I lost my tiny fucking mind. And then obviously he's driven off because he was scared. And I just come in, I just burst into tears. I was just like, I'm just so fucking fed up. And I know it sounds so silly because in the grand scheme of things, nothing could really happen. But it's almost like everything just come flooding back, like that narcissistic, that way that they do that thing where like they're talking about the thing that's not even to do with the thing, and you're like, it drives you insane. Like, and I don't know, I just literally fucking flipped, and I got so mad, and that was Friday night. By Saturday lunchtime, I was at Gatwick. I'd booked like this thing on lastminute.com. That was it. I flew to Greece, and I got this book. You lot know I love my Kindle. I got this book, which I must recommend this book if you like reading, because it really, even though it wasn't helpful, it was helpful. It was called, what's it called? Hot and Not Bothered, and it's by Harper Ford. And but this book's about her going through what is essentially perimenopause, menopause, whatever you want to call it. And she's just losing her fucking mind. But I've never related to a book so much in my life. And I just literally was reading this book on the plane, streaming. My eyes were just crying. I couldn't stop fucking crying. Anyway, so I got to Greece quite late that night. The flight had been delayed and it was the whole hoo-ha. And I got there and I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I just burst into tears. I was like, I don't want to be here, like nothing has fucking changed. So I've got back on EasyJet and I'm trying to get a flight to come back home like a fucking psychopath. The thing's just going round in circles and I'm like, Tamara, just why don't you go and get some breakfast and like go to the fucking beach? Like, it cost me so much money. I had to backtrack a bit. Like the 2 weeks before, I was desperately trying to like get some money together so I could take us all on holiday. And I think that's what pissed me off as well, because I just thought, why I'm literally breaking my balls, considering selling a piece of my fucking kidney to take all these kids on holiday. And I know it sounds fucked up, but it's just like I'm breaking under the weight of just trying to fucking keep them alive in general, let alone trying to do this. And I'm obviously trying to do this because I desperately I just needed a break, like I really did. And it's like, obviously I've got these fucking 5 broke besties that I can't just get the time away from them like that. And then I do feel bad, like, why, we should all be going together. So I was trying to like get the money together to do that, and obviously failed miserably because I'm not fucking Bill Gates. And I don't know, but I did have enough money just to take myself away, and I just thought, fuck it, fuck the kids, fuck their dads, fuck it all. Like, I do so much. Like, I literally do so much. I thought, you're due a little breakdown. Like, you fucking deserve it, because I don't know how anybody actually expects me to keep all this shit together. Like, there's 2 dads, and not one of them can contribute financially, but they expect me, one, to pay for them all. And anyway, I flipped out, and like I said, I ended up in Greece and tried to come home, failed miserably at that, and then I just went and tried to fling myself into the holiday, and I spent the first day crying, getting severely sunburnt. I was only there for a few days, but do you know what's really funny? I think pissed me off even more. It was basically the bank holiday weekend. May is kind of like the month of the year where I actually can catch a break, because I've normally lined it up so they go to their dads on the weekends of the bank holidays. So it's a nice long little break. Now, the last time they went to their dads, which was a couple of weeks ago, which was for the one break I get every year. Well, there's 2, but this is the main one. I spent that time, if you may remember, trying to detox from smoking and crying in my bed upstairs and like going for fucking saunas and stuff like that. Like, it was not fucking good. Anyway, so I just thought, I was so mad, and I just thought, just go, because this is the only time you're going to get this time. And it was a little 4-day thing, and I thought, you'll be back on Wednesday, the kids can come back on Tuesday to Rocco, it's all fine. It's only like 1 extra day, their dads have to have them. Anyway, so I've texted them both literally as I'd got on the flight, because I thought, I know what they're fucking like. So I waited till I was like nearly out the country, and I just texted them. And now the one who had come, like Kale and Knight's dad, come and like done all that, who I guess why I'd gone off like this in the first place, he didn't say anything. He literally didn't say anything. I mean, I think at that point he knew he couldn't fucking say anything, but he just sucked it up, and that was that. I didn't hear anything from him until Wednesday evening when I was back, and Knight had just texted me to say Dad's going to bring us back in the morning, which is Thursday morning. I was like, sweet. But who fucking kicked off? Amelia and Neo's dad. He lost his tiny fucking stupid mind and just I don't even know. He just texts me going mental, like, oh, you can't do this. You've got to plan these things, blah, blah, blah. Literally going mad. And I was like, are you all right? I was like, it's one extra day. Because bear in mind, he's supposed to be keeping them till the Monday night. And all I'm saying is you've got to keep them till the Tuesday night. He lost his fucking mind. Telling me about he's going to leave them on the doorstep. If the social services get involved, it's on me. I'm like, it's on me. You're going to leave your kids on my doorstep, knowing full well I'm not in the country. And you're going to say that's on me. I just thought, you're fucking mental. And the thing is, I know he was doing all of that because he'd lost his power. Like, they always have the power because it's like, I've got the kids. Like, what, they know I'm not going to let them starve. They know I'm not going to fucking fail. Like, they know that. So I just have to get on with it. But when they've got them and then they know there's no way to get them back to me, I forget he just lost his fucking mind. Anyway, bear in mind, up until this point, this man lies and says he doesn't work, so he doesn't have to pay me. But he slipped up. He sent me a message saying, oh, I'm not taking an extra day off work. I was like, oh. I said, okay. I said, at least now I've got evidence that you work. Anyway, hear what happened, and this is so funny. And just, again, power to the testament to the power of me, because I don't know why I ever worry, because the way the universe has my back is fucking hilarious sometimes. Anyway, so this is all like Saturday, Sunday, he's going mad. Monday was Monday. Tuesday, because Monday was bank holiday, I got a text message, right, of the child maintenance people. Now, bear in mind, I don't know if I've told you this before, but I took him to the CSA many, many years ago and tried to put him on the collect and pay thing. If you don't know, it's like for the men who don't pay for their children, the government will collect the money for you, but they'll take 20% of it. It's fine, whatever. When they're not giving you nothing, you don't mind. 20% of nothing is nothing anyway, so it doesn't matter. So he was on this collect and pay thing, or it was supposed to be, and I think the month they were supposed to start collecting it, he literally called me crying. I've said this before, my baby father's cried twice in his life, yeah, to me. And one of the times was him crying, saying, can I take him off this collect and pay thing? Now, call me a dickhead, call me a sucker, call me what you want, because I am a fucking idiot. But I took him off of it. And I told them that he was paying me directly. Now, he was supposed to give me £600 a month. He never ever gave that to me. He was only ever giving me 200, and it lasted for a few months, and then it stopped. Anyway, bear all of this in mind, because on Tuesday, randomly, I had a message from child maintenance saying, oh, we've recalculated your payment. Such and such is supposed to pay you £320 odd a month. And I was like, oh, is he? Okay. So I've gone into the account and I just said, look, I want to do the collect and pay thing again. And that was that. But I just thought, how crazy is that? And now the thing is, I know he sat there screaming, going, this bitch has reported me to the CSA. No, babes, I didn't. The universe done reported you, or did whatever it had to do to make you see financially abusing me and terrorizing me like this is not okay. Like, it's not okay. Because the mad thing is, like, they do take advantage of the fact that as much as I'm scary and yeah, the universe has got my back and blah, 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 they just take advantage of the fact they know I look after these kids and I look after them well. They know I'm not going to sit here and make these kids want for a damn thing because they're not providing. They know that. They know, if anything, it makes me go fucking harder, because I'm like, I'm not going to have my children suffer. But them doing that to me, it's basically financial abuse. And I don't like to say that because, you know, got to keep it gangster and we can't be admitting to be getting abused. But at the end of the day, that's essentially what's being happening. Anyway, so I've instructed them to do the collect and pay thing. I don't know what's going to happen. To be honest, I mean, if he does phone me back crying, begging me to take it off, I will use that opportunity to get my weekends back. And I was thinking, do you know what the funny thing is? I know this sounds fucked up, like, because I've got 2 baby fathers and I've only taken one of them to the CSA, and I'll tell you why. It's because this one I'm talking about is visibly okay. Excuse me. He's like always got on like very nice trainers. I know how expensive trainers are. He's got on the nice tracksuits. He's out. He can go on holiday. Like, he's all right. But my other one, he's visibly fucking poor. Like, and it actually breaks my heart, because life shouldn't have gone that way for him. I mean, maybe that's the way it's gone because he's fucked me over so many times. I don't know, but he's visibly poor, and he's so visibly poor that I genuinely couldn't do that to him. Like, there would be no fucking point, like, to be honest with you. Like, that's how bad his situation is. So I kind of feel like there's no, I don't know, I wouldn't do that. And with him as well, it sounds so fucked up, but like, I feel like he's the one who actually cares a bit more, as fucked up as he is. Like, the other one, who's now got to pay this money, he's basically said to me before, if I have to pay you, I won't see the kids. So yeah, anyway, this is what I deal with. Anyway, I'm not complaining because you know what, things could be 2 billion times worse, but I'm just letting you know what happened. I had a little breakdown. In fact, you know what, not even a breakdown. I just had a fucking break. I deserve one, and I took back my power for a little while, and I went and did what I needed to do. And you know what? The kids were fine. The worst thing I felt was like, oh my God, I felt so bad because I hadn't taken the kids on holiday. I got back and they were like, oh, where did you go? And I was like, Greece. They're like, oh yeah, that's nice. And went upstairs. They just didn't fucking give a shit. And I'm going to end this on this because I just want to remind you that if you are a parent, you being selfish is one of the best things you can do. I swear to God, and that sounds so fucked up, but you being selfish and putting yourself first will make sure that you've actually got happy children. And I'll tell you why, because I am the glue that holds this shit together. Like, it is me. Everything falls to me. Like, if I don't go and put food in the fridge, nobody's eating. If I don't go and make, like, nothing happens without me, right? And if I am not okay, like how I was last week, where I felt like at the end of my fucking tether, like I can't cope anymore, how am I going to look after my children? How am I going to be okay? And I say this all the time because I used to notice when I was younger, especially when the kids were younger, when I was having a really bad day, I don't vocalise it because I'm just not going to put stress on my children like that. But I would notice regardless, they'd be having a bad fucking day. Like, it's like almost like if I'm acting up mentally, they're acting up mentally. And that's why I always say, put yourself first. Look after you first, because if you're okay, your kids will be okay. And it is not selfish. And like I said, I went on that holiday and I felt so much better. I mean, after the first day of crying and sunburn, God, I met a really lovely guy, actually, not to like that, I know what you don't like. I met a really lovely older Norwegian guy who basically lives under the Northern Lights. He lives like in the Arctic Circle, but I felt like we really needed each other on that holiday. I had booked like this adults only, it was basically over 70s, like I was the youngest person there, but I booked it because I just wanted to be around old people, quiet people. But yeah, he was there on his own, and we became pool buddies, and he asked me out for dinner one night, and that we're still texting now. We've been texting like every day since the holiday, and he's such a sweetheart. And I don't know, it was just nice to meet him, I guess. And I would like to say that as well, like, go and travel. Like, don't ever be afraid. Don't even just travel, like, do stuff on your own, because it's such a different experience. Like, don't be afraid to do stuff on your own. Like, if I hadn't done that on my own, I wouldn't have met Frank, you know. And it's just, you kind of have a different experience when you're on your own, because when you're with other people, you're with them, so no one's going to just talk to you, are they? But when you're on your own, it kind of opens you up to, I don't know, I guess some weirdos, but I don't tend to attract that. And I don't know, it was just nice. It was a good time. And this is going to sound so fucking mental, but I'd been getting up to do sun gazing. If you don't know what sun gazing is, you should get to know. It's a really, really powerful thing. It's like if you stare at the first 10 minutes of the sun and the last 10 minutes of the sun, it like basically gets you fucking high as fuck, but it energizes you. Like, it's good for your eyes, it's just good for all sorts of things. Anyway, so I tried to do this on the last 2 days of the holiday, and on the last day I literally saw God. I swear to God, and this is not now me giving my life over to whatever, like, I saw God in the true sense. I didn't see the God that they try and tell you lives in church and that all of this shit that they took. I saw actual God. Like, I saw the sun come up, I saw the rays come out like that, and I just thought, this is fucking it. This is life. This is what gives us energy. This is the joy. This is everything. This is all that it's about. And I don't know, it sounds stupid, like I had a good moment, I was clearly stoned, but I don't know. There's something about being near the sea and the sun that is just very, very healing, especially the sea. I spent a long time while I was away just staring at the sea. As it was coming in, I'm breathing in the peace, and as it's going out, I'm letting go of my stress. And there's something about, you know, the ocean. It's just so big, it's so vast, and so, like, I just literally asked it to take all of my problems, because I was like, I can't handle them. Maybe you can, and of course it can. It's the ocean, it's massive, right? So I don't know, I just felt fucking bastard stupid Amazon. Right, I'll get that in a minute. He's walked off. Oh my God, guys, sorry, this is all about to get a lot better. That's my new phone case for my new phone that I've had for 4 days and haven't been able to open because I didn't have a cover for it. But I just wanted to apologise if there's been any sound issues of late, because I just thought it was just me, but I think it might actually be my phone and carrying through. Anyway, let me not digress. Point of the matter is, that's my new phone case. Next week, you're going to see a fresher, clearer Tamara, because we're obviously going to have a new camera. And yeah, hopefully some better sound. Anyway, I'm just going to I'm going to leave it at that. I had some other stuff I wanted to talk about, but you know what? I'm going to do it in another podcast because I need to get going. But I think our next podcast, I'm going to talk about all my pregnancies. I guess that's the natural progression on from the whole smoking thing. But yeah, I'm going to talk. This man on my parcel, I really need to go. I swear he's just come back to take it. Anyway, I'm gonna do a podcast on all my different pregnancies, and anyway, I'm gonna go. Thank you for listening. If you haven't watched last week's episode, go and watch that, because that was, like I said, that was a really good one. And I will see you all next week for a pregnancy podcast, and it'll be a big one because there was 5 of them. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you for listening. Lots of love. Mwah.